Mark Spector Comics, and I'm back with my new comic book day best bets of the week for January 1st, 2020. That's right. We're moving on to a new year, new decade. Hopefully everyone's having a nice and safe holiday. It's one of those holidays, where it can get pretty dangerous out there if you're not, paying attention. So let's be careful out there and let's have some good time with family and friends and spend a little time with comics. So before we get into this week, let's do a quick recap on how we did on last week's super light week. So it was 3 books, came at $12, so well under budget. Let's see how we do this week. Alright, so we're starting off at Dark Horse and we're just going to make our way through. It's not a heavy week from what I was looking at by looking at the titles, but it's definitely a lot more books on there than last week. So let's scroll on through and see what we can find. I know there's some number ones, there's some ongoings that are interesting, so let's get in it. Sword Daughter, number 9. It looks like this series is finally back. I don't know if anybody's been reading this, but it's been a pretty good read. So I may check this out. So yeah, all right. But it depends. We'll see. We'll see if the shop actually has it. But if they do, I'll definitely pick it up. But it won't be a recommendation for this week. So let's move on. All right. So on to DC. Let's see. Scrolling through. Some people have been digging this Batman Beyond. It's a really cool Francis Manapul cover. I'm not sure if there's anything going on this week that's key with Batman Beyond, but let me take a quick look on Key Collector Comics. But from time to time they do sneak in some good first appearances, but it's hard to get these books because they're very low print. So it doesn't look like there's anything that I know of. So let's move on. Let's see. Detective Comics. I haven't been reading Detective Comics in quite some time. I know there's a first appearance this week. I think it's the Pagan Son or something like that. I don't know. That's not going to be something I pick up. But let's move on. I guess there's nothing in DC this week, huh? I thought for some reason there was a book I was looking at picking up, but apparently not. So, sorry about that. Let's get on to, alright, our first book. So, first book is by IDW Publishing. It's called I Can Sell You a Body, number 1. Written by Ryan Ferrier and art by George Cambadies. I probably butchered that one. Sorry about that. Basically, it's a story about, I don't know if it's a person that can, for a price, throw souls into somebody else or something like that. Let me see. I'm probably reading the solicitation a little off there, but let me just click on in here and see what it is. Oh yeah, Are You Dead? Denny Little can help. This disgraced TV psychic can put your soul in a living body for a price. So a bad day at the office, however, just put a bounty on his head courtesy of a murdered mafioso, leaving Denny 48 hours to save his own life. So this looks interesting. I'm going to add this to my list as my first book. Sometimes IDW from time to time does put out some sneaky good reads. So here's that first book. And I know a lot of people haven't been talking about this, so this one might be interesting. So there's the first book. Alright, so I'm going back to IDW. I think that's the only book I was actually looking at this week. some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. These are some current ongoing series that I have not been reading whatsoever. But if you guys have, let me know. Put down in the comments what you guys are reading. So next we're moving on to Image. And there's some more ongoing titles. I don't believe there's any #1s this week. There is this Philadelphia #2, written by Rodney Barnes, Jason Sean Alexander. A lot of people like #1. I guess the book was optioned, so I don't know, but it didn't actually pick up any steam on the second market, except for that incentive ratio. That was wicked nice. Looks like the cover B is sold out at Midtown. I read issue 1. I was not a big fan, actually, to be honest. So I'm not going to be picking it up, but I know some people will be. So I just wanted to mention that to you guys. And that's it for Image. So let's move on to Marvel. And Marvel definitely has some good titles this week. All right, so scrolling from the top, I know a lot of people love this Daredevil, and so I'm gonna, if you guys are into that, check it out. It's been a very good read by Chip Zdarsky. Jeez, butchering names tonight. But I'm not gonna recommend that book, so I usually stick to #1s and then key issues. But there is this Hawkeye Freefall #1, new story by Matthew Rosenberg. I believe there's something in here on Key Collector. Let me check this out real quick. So there's the first appearance of a new Ronin. So you guys already know, if you guys watched the Infinity Wars movie, Ronin showed up in there. It was obviously Hawkeye. So maybe interesting to see who this next Ronin is. So I'm gonna add this to the list. Go, $3.99. And I'm sure it's going to be a very low printed book, because a lot of these titles are often low print, especially if it's not a big name on the actual, title writing the book. So, and there's cover B, done by Otto Schmidt. Oh, it's pretty cool as well. You see him there as Hawkeye, and then there in the bottom as Ronin. Nice cover. And then an incentive done by Elizabeth Torque, which I'm not familiar with that artist. Alright, so moving on. Next book is going to be Miles Morales, #14. I don't know if you guys read issue #13, but that book caught a lot of steam on that last page when we saw Billy Morales finally, his Miles Morales' sister. Surprised this book's not. Alright, so it looks like cover B is sold out, but because issue 13 sold out right away. Like I said, very low printed book, and still up until this last week it was selling for 15 to 20 bucks. So I expect this book to be the first full appearance of Billy Morales, as we only saw her in the last page. So I'm going to recommend this book as well. There we go. Alright. And then you got a cover B by Declan Shalvey, which I don't like that cover at all. I prefer cover A. Alright, scrolling through. Here's another big story that's coming out this week. It's Star Wars #1. I personally have not been reading Star Wars. I don't collect Star Wars. I am a big Star Wars fan. I do watch The Mandalorian, but I don't particularly have. I think I may have like 1 or 2 Star Wars books in my collection, but I'm just gonna add this as in, let's see, an honorable mention. There's definitely a lot of Star Wars fans out there, and I believe this story continues shortly after the Empire. Yeah, the Empire Strikes Back. So there's a lot of cool covers. Recommend pick what you like. I do like that Phil Noto cover. That's pretty cool. Like I said, there's a lot of covers out there. There's going to be a ton of incentives. As you can see, as I'm scrolling through, Jen Bartel cover is pretty cool. But geez, it's a 1 in 50. Just be mindful that this book is going to be a high print run. It's written by Charles Soule, so actually it could be a pretty good read. It is going to be a high print run. As you can see, they're pushing out these massive incentives like the Marvel usually does. So don't expect this book to catch a lot of steam on the market. It just may be a good read. So like I said, it's going to be my honorable mention. Got a couple of other new books here. I guess Tarot #1. There is a first appearance in this book. I actually have no interest in this book whatsoever. First appearance of, I guess, Ishlag. I don't know. But it says the heroes will face trouble. So courtesy of the Infernal Ichor of Ishlag. I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be a giant pass for me. I don't know what Marvel's thinking about putting out an issue like this, but whatever. All right, moving on. And then obviously the big title for Marvel this week, outside of Star Wars, is gonna be Thor #1. They've been hyping up this book for months. As soon as they found out that Donny Cates is gonna be writing the series. This is what everyone's going to be talking about this week. Everyone's going to be doing comic reviews on this book because Donny Cates is writing. We all love Donny Cates for the most part. And I'm pretty excited for this book. There's going to be some ton of covers. I'm just going to go through them slowly and then see what you guys like. That's a really cool Ryan Brown cover. And actually, that may be, it could be one of the villains in the storyline. So there's your, first potential cover appearance of a villain. And Ryan Brown does some sick artwork. I do like this Mr. Garson collage cover. That's actually really cool. All right, moving on. Let's see what else we got. All right. Oh, crap. Sorry about that. I think I just repeated them. Chris Anka cover. I don't know. Is it me or the way they're drawn? Thor looks really strange. I don't know what is up with that. Like, is it Art Germ cover? Like, what is up with his face? Maybe it's just me, but that looks terrible. I don't know what's going on there. Is it me or is like these guys can't draw Thor? This is a little better copy of Art Adams, but I don't know what is going on here. As you can see, there's a ton of covers as I'm scrolling here on the right. Is a Stegman cover. Actually, this one looks pretty cool. I think there's like, I don't know, 15 or 16 different covers you can get just from Marvel. There's that nice classic Jack Kirby cover. Yeah, that's a gorgeous cover. And if you're bold, go for that 1 in 500 blank blue cover. Oh man, if you buy that, that's just, I don't know what to say. But yeah, so there's a lot of covers. I'm gonna, like I said, pick what you like. Don't go on specking that this book's gonna be worth a lot of money because the print run is gonna be massive. I'm guesstimating the print run will be between 150 and maybe 200,000 copies. Which it doesn't seem like a lot in today's standards, but you gotta remember, rewind that a little bit. Back in the day in the 90s, they had massive print runs of like 500,000, a million, plus whatever. But in today's standards, when some comics are only having like 10, 20, 30,000 print run. A print run of 150 to 200,000 is massive. That's what I meant to say. So a lot of these books are not going to be worth much long term. So just buy the cover you like, enjoy the read. It's going to be a great read. And as a matter of fact, I'm making it my pick of the week. The cover I'm going to be looking out for, I think it's pretty cool, is this Mr. Garson collage cover. Got a little bit of everything in there. I like to see these little tiny pieces of artwork all tying in together. So that's what I'm going to be looking out for. And I'll add that to the list. Sorry about that, I was ranting a little bit, but so moving on. We're at 17 bucks. We're doing pretty good. And that's it for Marvel. All right. Let's see. So moving on to the independents. There's not many this week, but I'm going to just point out the ones I'm looking at. All right, let's start from the top. First book, Classic Pulp Horror. It's a one-shot by Source Point Press. I love these pre-code horror, EC, comic-esque stories. I've always been a big, horror fan. I'm going to add this to the list. It's like it's a $4 book. And I believe this is a reprint of the original. Yeah. Anthology of the 3 remastered stories originally published in The Adventures into the Unknown back in 1948. So if you find that, check it out. I think you'll enjoy that. The next book, I think there's one more book this week I was looking at. That's a really cool Fantastic Four cover swipe. I believe that's the is that Fantastic Four number 46 or 47 with the cover appearance of Black Bolt. That's pretty cool. Oh yeah, this was the other book I was looking at. Was Seance Room number 1, another book by Source Point Press. I found this book to be pretty interesting. The story, at least, talks about a place beyond time and space that exists inside of a castle owned by an eccentric ghostmonger. So the 6 ghosts have been trapped here, each with their own expertise of the expired. Do you dare tempt fate and enter the seance room? So that's going to be my last book I add for this week at $4. Like I said, these books, Source Point Press, is very low print as well. So it may be a little harder to find, but if you do, I think you'll enjoy the books because they do often have good stories in them. So that's the last book of the week. How do we do? $25. All right, so we stuck to our budget of under $30. And hopefully you guys enjoy this. It's moving on to the next year. Like I said, enjoy the New Year's. Spend some time with your family and loved ones. Be safe out there. And until next time, it's Mark Spector Comics. Out.